Hi.
Everyone here, I have 6 members who are over 16. Alex, will you please?
Of course.
Hold.
Here you go.
Wow. Okay. Y'all ready? Okay. 69.1%. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is the amount of students who, after they graduated high school, they went straight into college the semester after they had their graduation. Now, many people think that life without college is absolutely useless. You can't have a successful career, and you can't really have a successful life if you don't get that college degree. But could it be that we put too much stress on this college degree when we get these successful careers? College is not as beneficial as the general populace believes it is, due to the costs, the mental well-being that people experience during this college time, and the benefits that we may get because of this college degree. Now, we all know how expensive college is. We're seniors, we're looking towards colleges now, we're going through the college process, and we're seeing how high these tuition rates are. Now, according to this graph from the College Board, since 1989, tuition rates in a public four-year college has almost tripled. It's over tripled. These tuition rates are incredibly increasing every single year. But many people say, oh, we have financial aid, it's growing as well. And they're right. In this other graph from the College Board, we see that if you combine the average grant aid, the average federal loans, and other aid that people will take, in 2017 to 2018, students got around $13,000 in financial aid. And this is great because it covered all the tuition. And if college only constituted tuition rates, then they'd be fine. But unfortunately, if you look at this bar graph, for public schools at least, tuition only accounts for less than half of the actual cost that people pay when they go to college. There's still room and board, there's still books and supplies and transportation. And overall, it accounts for much more. And so even though these students are getting their tuition paid, they still have so many expenses that they have to go on. So, many people also argue the fact that since you get this degree, we're actually going to be able to pay these debts. And even if we get student loans, we'll be able to pay them in a relatively quickly time because of this great amount of wages that we're getting because of this degree. However, not all majors are created equal. For example, we have STEM majors and liberal arts majors. Now, STEM majors is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They're very high-paying jobs, and they need these degrees to be able to do them. And liberal arts majors are more like entertainment and other arts things, and they are typically not paid as much. Now, although these college degrees definitely aid in wages, they significantly increase them if you have this degree. STEM majors over 40 years will accumulate $800,000 more than these liberal arts majors will. So even though the degree is great, if you accumulate a large amount of debt and you're going into a liberal arts major, then it's not necessarily going to benefit you if you get this degree and if you don't. With that, this only accounts for people who actually graduate college. If you look at this bar graph from the National Center for Education Statistics, for every single institution, both private and public, both male and female, around 60% of students are going to graduate from college. Now, this is a great number. It's over half of the students, but this degree only really works if people are going into the business that they've studied for 4 years. And a famous economist, Adam Smith, calculated that around for every 20 people that don't go into the degree that they spent 4 years on, one person does. And to put all these statistics into sort of like a real life problem, if you have 20,000 students, they just got out of high school and they've gone into a university. By the time they all graduate, only 11,800 of them are actually going to get that degree. And out of those 11,800, according to Adam Smith, only 590 of them are actually going to go into the business that they've gotten a degree for. This is roughly 3% of the original 20,000. That means that 20,000 people may be in debt and may have student loans, but only 3% of them are actually benefiting from the degree that they might have. Now, all of this is great. You get a great work ethic from college, but you also get a lot of mental stress. According to a study done by the American College Health Association with 63,000 students from over 9 different schools, they say that over 40% of students say that they experience crippling depression during their college years, and 61% experience overwhelming anxiety. Now, this is terrible because even if they get this degree, they're going to have serious mental issues by the time they get out of it. Now, many people say that this is natural selection. They have to go through this process to be able to get this degree and to be able to have a good college. However, natural selection is the idea that everyone's in the same environment, and some students fail in college because of stimuli that's just outside their control. For example, take a student that comes from a middle-class family with their parents being married, and they had a relatively stable childhood. So they're going to go pretty well in college. However, if you take a student who comes from a lower class family who may have had a broken home and gone through a divorce, they're not going to have a stable childhood, and then they may not be able to go through this college. They may not be able to go through the college experience with such a stable mindset because they didn't have that stable childhood. And this is stuff that's outside of their control, so you really can't say that it's natural selection at that point. However, all of these statistics and all these projections are only if the student makes it out of college. Now, according to the American College Health Association, suicide is the second most common cause of death in college students. Now, this is due to a few things. For one, these students are away from their family and their entire support systems for the very first time. And in this, they're in the most stressful time of their lives. They're under immense pressure. And this is paired with inconsistent sleeping and eating habits. Now, this is terrible and it's normalized. Many people see this as the college experience. So if a student is truly struggling, they may think, oh, this is just what college is. And they may be a part of that statistic and be one of those that may fall into suicide. So, with all of this, is there anything we can do? Well, there's a lot we can do. For one, we have free college systems. Now, this is very popular in areas such as Scandinavia. It means that basically any tuition or other college costs are going to be covered by the state that's not covered by other scholarships. Now, this is great because it takes the debt and the financial instability away from the students, but it's also not good because it makes very large taxes happen in these countries. Like Sweden has one of the largest tax accounts for every single person, and that mainly falls on the middle class, which is not great. You're benefiting these students, but you're not benefiting the families that they come from. And we can also delegate these mental health cases to college counselors or outside resources. For the students that just need that extra aid, they'll be able to go to these college counselors, but for students who may need more prolonged care, they can go to these outside institutions, which helps them because they're getting the help that they need, but it helps the colleges because they don't have to implement these lavish institutions for the few students that actually need them. And then, as a society, we can try and see multiple perspectives regarding these futures. Not every single person has to go to college to have a successful career. And if we realize that it takes the pressure off of every single high school student and may even drop tuition rates as time goes on. And finally, we as students can recognize our limits. We won't have to go to these college counselors if we recognize the classes that we can and can't take. So if we do that in the first place, then we won't have the problems in the future. Overall, this is not saying college is bad. It's a great institution to take people from being children to adults and bring them into the workforce. However, college is not the end-all be-all of a successful career. Now, due to the cost, the mental toll, and the potential payoff of college, it's not as beneficial as people think. Now, it's crucial to recognize the diversity in the workforce and the differing paths leading to a successful career if we want to build a better future for our generations and our own children in the future. That's it!